James, can you come get me? There's some guy who put some stuff in the drink. I'm not comfortable here anymore.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I have to go after a while. Alright, fine, I'll look at
The club isn't the best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends said.
Down there?
Yeah, so you have to take a left.
Alright. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Watch out!
Whoa!
My God!
911, recorded line, where's your emergency?
Hi, I just saw a car accident, right behind the high school.
Okay, on what street?
It's, North Street.
On North Street by the high school?
Yeah.
Okay, is anybody hurt?
It looks really bad. One of the guys in the car that got hit is, hanging out of his window.
Right, just stay in line for me, okay?
Okay.
Station Rated J Cars, report of a motor vehicle accident on North Street by the high school entrance with injury. Again, North Street by the high school with injury. Okay, and tell me what you see.
So there's two cars. It looked like one of them slammed into the other one, like
Okay.
right on the side, and so one guy's hanging out of his window. He's not moving.
One guy's hanging out. Okay.
Yeah,
Stay on
and
the line, right?
okay.
Take a deep breath. Stay on the line. J Cars, report of a male party hanging out of the window. Again, 260's been notified. Okay. Are they moving at all? Can you see anybody moving?
No, he's not moving. There's another person in that car, and then there's two people in the other car, and none of them are getting out. But
Okay. Are they trapped inside the car, or are they able to move at all?
I can't tell.
You can't tell. All right, just stay on the line.
Okay.
J Cars, appears that all parties involved by both vehicles are stuck inside the vehicles. No movement, possibly trapped. All right. Can you see any movement yet? I know you're far away, but just try and tell me what you see.
I don't think so. They're moving.
They are
I think.
moving?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I have the ambulance en route, and I have officers en route, okay?
Okay.
All right. Is anybody near the vehicles at all?
Some people, they're watching, but...
Is anybody trying to help them at all, or are they just near the vehicles?
They're up close. It looks like they might be helping.
Okay. All right. Well, again, I have the ambulance en route, okay? They should be there momentarily. All right?
All right. Okay.
Just keep me updated if anything changes, okay?
Okay. Yeah, they're pulling up now.
They're pulling up now?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
a stand. All right, I demonstrate it to you. All right, you're gonna stand with your feet together, arms down by your side. Okay, you're gonna lift your foot up approximately 6 inches. Okay, count to 30. Okay, it's gonna look something like this. Okay, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. Okay, you're gonna put your foot down after 30 seconds. You understand that? Okay, when you're ready to do so, all right, you can begin that test. You can start over, all right? Start over, put your foot down, all right? Gain your composure, all right? Count out loud, all right? When you're ready to begin, you can do so. All right, I don't want you to hurt yourself, so I'm just going to have you stop that test, okay? All right, next one I'm going to have you do is the 9-step walk and turn. All right, we're going to use this line, okay? You're going to start with your left foot in front of your right, okay? All right, I don't want you to stop that test. I don't want you to get hurt, okay? Again, I'm going to ask you one more time. Anything to drink tonight? No? Any medications again?
There's going to be a spiel or something. Yeah. I'm trying to tie it in with the kids. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, without making it a whole play-looking thing. It's a Bridgewater name. No. I go home. I want to get them some stuff.
How's it going? Are you Mr. O'Malley?
Good evening, yes.
Can we step outside for 1 minute? So, let me tell you what's going on. We're investigating a fatal motor vehicle accident. Unfortunately, it's made the life of a 17-year-old high school student. Okay. During that investigation, it was revealed at this point that some of the kids were here, furnished alcohol, and that you and your wife were aware of the fact that there was underage drinking going on here. Okay. So, as it stands as of right now, I'm going to have to place you under arrest. Okay, under the social host law, contributing and furnishing alcohol to minors, okay? You can walk over to my police car, we'll go down to the station, we'll figure it out. So for now, you can turn around, face that door, bring your hands behind the small of your back, okay? I'll double lock the handcuffs so they don't hurt your wrists. Make some phone calls down to the police station, we'll go over all your rights, okay? Watch your head. So, like I explained, right now you're under arrest for okay, which is the fine's up to $2,000 or a year in jail or both. Wow. Okay, right now you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be committed before the law. You do have the right to speak to an attorney and have him or present with you before any questioning if you wish. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you at no cost. If you understand these rights that they just read to you. I do. You want to make a statement or say anything? Okay.
I think you are all mature enough to know that what you witness does happen. Okay? It might not happen here, hopefully not. You see this kind of stuff on the news, you hear stories of this. As your principal, that's the last thing on earth that I ever want to have to deal with, is either the death of a student or a car accident where people are hurt, especially if it comes down to poor decisions, bad decision making. This is the time when you're going to start seeing stories, okay? And you're gonna have to make those decisions. I think you know that throughout the school year, the focus of the advisory really had to do, whether it was opioid abuse or just bad decision making, okay? And how can you make better decisions? We recently did have a serious accident here involving one of our students. And thankfully, it didn't result in a death. It also didn't result from poor decision making. It was just an accident. Those things are scary. And they do impact the community, okay? Now, some of you are outside and you're laughing and you're giggling and you're joking around. I hope deep down, though, you understand this is serious and this does happen, okay? And you're going to be faced with a lot of decisions between now through next year. Okay, and we want you to remember scenes like you saw outside or scenes that you saw up on the screen. Remember those scenes. Make good decisions, okay? We are going to turn this over. We have a panel discussion. I will ask each panelist just to introduce themselves. There might be some unfamiliar faces up there. And then we're going to open it to questions. Okay, so if you have a question, the correct form that they're going to come down to ask the question. Not have a cordless mic. So, okay, I will try to get the mic as close to you, but if you do have a question, just raise your hand and we will come around to you. But before that, I would like to introduce or have our panelists introduce themselves, starting on the left-hand side.
James Scow, former senior class president.
Amanda Sandoval, the Assistant Director of Prevention Services for High Point.
Ryan Powers, the assistant superintendent.
Derek Swenson, superintendent. Thank you.
Tom Levy, fire chief.
Kevin Kearns, Bridgewater Police Department.
So does anybody have any questions to start out with?
Back recording.
Can't see.
All right, we've got a question up front.
What could have been done differently to avoid this tragedy?
So the question was, what could have been done differently?
Do you want to answer that?
Well, from a student's perspective, you guys saw it on the video. I think it was Isaiah who witnessed the drugging of the drink. Just it goes with Miss Watson's theme for the year, like see something, say something. Everyone's going to be put in those situations, especially within these next couple of years, so it's just important that we understand the importance of the situation.
On the fire side, not only being the fire chief, I'm a parent of a 23-year-old and a 13-year-old, both girls. So I'm very well aware of what you're going through. Not only have I had almost 40 years of public safety experience, a police officer and a firefighter, I've witnessed that multiple times. Ms. Watson said it hasn't happened here. Well, I'm telling you right now, it will happen. If you don't pay attention, be responsible for your actions, I guarantee you will know someone by the time you're 20 years old that they've either overdosed, they've gotten in a car accident due to texting, not paying attention, or drinking,
or drugs. I will guarantee you that. You will be affected by a family member, a good friend, or an acquaintance. Mark my words. 39 years of experience tells me that's going to happen. So you better stop thinking like some of the things I heard out there, thinking it was funny that the girl was doing a sobriety test by the police officers. Because that could be any one of you this weekend. And there is no need for it. Never do I want to go to another scene where I have to tell a parent or pull someone out of a car that's in that condition. I get paid to do my job. I don't get paid to live with the memories I have in my head. Think about it as a parent, individual, and a BR graduate.
And I would just add, in terms of the time of your life that you're in right now, everyone sitting here at one point was a junior or senior in high school and may have found ourselves in those type of situations. It's about not only taking care of yourself, but being a good friend and taking care of one another. And if you recognize something that a student, member of your class or an upperclassman or even below you is in a difficult situation, in an unsafe situation, it's all about being a good friend too, identifying that and looking out for them and making sure, even if that means you need to make a call to a family member of that individual so they don't get behind the wheel of that car and it's not the end result that we saw today. So it's all about keeping you kids safe. We do these things because we do care and love all of you. We want you to be safe, and we want you to move on from this high school and be successful young adults and then adults in this community and pass that message forward to future generations.
So one of the questions that somebody had brought up before was, for school administration, what consequences, if any, would students face if they were involved in a situation that we just saw on the video and live scene?
So from a high school perspective, and this is something that's very important for you to understand, once you leave the confines of this building, your consequence starts first and foremost with the man who got the biggest applause up there, which is Officer Kearns, or the local police department. You can applaud him now. A lot of the consequences, however, that happen outside of school do translate back into school, and it depends on what charges you face. And you can face, correct me if I'm wrong, quite an array of charges. So you want to speak to that first?
I know before, say, we even knew the condition of Mr. Scow, we assumed, we did our assessment of Juliana, determined she was operating the vehicle under the influence of alcohol and or drugs. So at that point, we made our arrest. Information coming down the line, we've come to find out that we had a fatality involved with an OUI crash. So now you're looking at penalties such as operating to endanger, negligent operation, motor vehicle homicide. Those are all felony crimes, which can impact your school future. I know Ms. Watson has the ability to, keep you out of school based on an open felony. So there you go.
Here's what's going to happen first if you were the driver of such an accident scene that you saw. You don't have to worry about what I'm going to do because you are going to jail. And your education is not at the forefront of their care or worries. Okay? That's first and foremost. I would be the least of your worries. That's the real world. That's where the school can't. We try to protect you guys. Your seniors, you're going to hear my speech in another week. You're going to hear about the parade that you guys do on the last day of rehearsal, and it's great. You all follow, all the cars are decorated, everybody's honking and waving. You go to all the schools. It's kind of like a little rite of passage. The issue becomes the minute you leave school grounds. We cannot protect you anymore. So if you're out on the streets and you do something negligent, or if you get into a car accident, or God forbid somebody gets hurt, it's not a school thing. We can't protect you. You're now in the hands of the local police department. And there are big consequences that come from that. You don't have to be falling down, stumbling drunk to be under the influence and to be charged guilty and face very severe consequences. That's an important thing to remember.
What you guys didn't see was, in a scene like that, we're going to be making a lot of calls to detectives. We'll probably contact State Police Accident Reconstruction at this point. We're going to recreate that crash using math, statistics. They're going to take the weights of the vehicles, the length of the skid marks. They're going to process that whole scene, and that's going to give us more information going forward of, what these charges might entail. Everyone says, "Oh, my brakes broke." Well, they're going to test those cars. They're going to go through it, with a fine-tooth comb and determine what actually caused that crash. The hospital, we're going to subpoena the blood records. If you don't provide a breathalyzer, whoever gets transported, we're going to take your blood, process it, and get to know how much alcohol was in your system, what narcotic was in your system that night. So we're going to use all that, and then our charges will be going forward. And I don't think they filmed this part, but Chief Levy hinted to it. You guys didn't see probably the worst call is the knock on the door. "Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Scow. We regret to inform you your son is not coming home tonight." I've made a notification similar to this incident, and I don't know what they were. God knows what they were feeling. I felt sick to my stomach doing it, and I didn't even know the person involved. So think about your parents, at home reading a book by the fireplace, getting that knock on the door, what's going to be going through their mind.
And I think it's important to, I know we're, saying consequences, 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 and we want you to obviously enjoy your time and, celebrate this time of year and, all that your future has in store. And it's hard for you guys to also think about the long term, what's going to happen long term, what's going to happen down the road. It's more so you guys are thinking about, okay, in a couple weeks I'm going to be walking across that stage getting my diploma. So it's really important to just remember, again, we just really want you all to make some safe decisions during this prom season. We're not trying to take away your fun. We just want to make sure that you guys are making good decisions and making the good memories. So we really do appreciate all of your respect today. For those of you who may have had a little bit trouble, watching the scene, there is guidance available as well as nursing if anybody does want to speak with anybody. A lot of times you guys are the first ones to notice that something's going on amongst your friends. So it's really important, again, this can be a matter of life and death, so making sure that you talk to the right person that you trust. And making sure that you know what the resources are. And today you learned about Bridging Lives, which is a coalition in the community that just brings together all of the different services. Maybe you yourself don't struggle with substance use or whatever your situation might be, but a lot of you guys probably go home and it's within your family. And so there is support out there. There are people that you can talk to within the school. And again, thank you everybody and have a safe prom season and graduation.
We had a question. We had a question in the back of the room, but she's on crutches, so she asked me to ask. This would be for Officer Kearns. There was a part of the video that the juniors wouldn't have seen as they were filing in, but I believe the seniors saw an adult getting arrested. Could you explain what that was about? Violation of the social host law and what that entails?
Sure. So social host law now states, you cannot furnish, provide alcohol to minors and or knowing that they're consuming it, under your property, under your control. So that's what you saw. You saw parents that had provided liquor to juveniles, and whether they provided it or not, knowing that they're in their house consuming that alcohol is in violation of the social host law. So you saw, I believe it was the Dennis police officer arrested the parent, and he's going to spend the night with us. He's going to have consequences to face in court on Monday. So, parents, it's okay, you guys can drink in my basement as long as you stay here, don't drive. Knowing that that's going on is still violation of the social host law.
That can also affect your parents' ability to have insurance on their house and lose their home, for you guys who don't know, going into this prom season. Additionally, when you get to college, when you're over 21 and want to host the party, you could also be affected by that law and pretty much lose your chance to get a job in the long run. So those are things to think of in the long run. And the other thing I noticed on this is, I think a lot of these high school students may be removed from the idea of watching someone slip something into another person's drink. And perhaps for prom, it's often, we're going to stay at someone's house all night, so I'm not concerned about drinking and driving. But when you watch that friend take an extra drink or hand someone the extra shot, and you watch that person fall asleep, or you watch that person drift off, and you're too scared to tell someone, that's as much of an issue. Mrs. Watson's point, see something, say something. A teacher, the police officers much rather help you guys than see the negative consequences of you not saying something. And that would be a big concern, in my opinion, for these kids who do the sleepovers.
Are there any other questions? Any other questions?